Hi guys, it's me Christy and I'm here with a book versus movie review of Indignation by Philip Roth. And I'm just gonna start with the movie version versus the book version first. I watched the movie just last night and there are a few things where the movie of course took some liberties as well as changed a few things from the book, but at the same it made sense. Like in every adaptation there's always going to be a couple changes to make sense on screen rather than just reading it. Logan Lerman plays Marcus Messner and Logan Lerman is Bay. I'm just gonna get that out there, like he is Bay. And there is a part in the movie where his roommate is the one who plays like the Chinese national anthem, where it says, part of it is indignation, and that is actually the part in the book where Marcus Messner is like chanting that in his head as he gets angry at the dean, but here it's introduced by the roommate. In the movie he works at the library instead of in a restaurant, so I thought that was it was an okay change, but I would have preferred if he stayed in the restaurant, because there was more of a, it felt like in the book Philip Roth was trying to say something about him working in the restaurant, and when he was a waiter, instead of calling his name they would say, "Hey Jew," like to call him over. So I felt like that was lost because the movie ended up turning out a bit different compared to the book. Like in the opening scene we're in a old folks home, and then this nurse is talking to an old woman, and then she looks at the wallpaper with red and white flowers on it, and then I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? I read the book and there was no reference to that, but it's very nice aesthetically. And then so I was like wondering what was going on with that, and then we'll get to that later. But I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, I don't even know. All of this is kind of like a mess, mostly because my thoughts were like everywhere. But anyway, in the movie we can really see like we get a good background of how Marcus Messner is just like this Jewish kid who grew up as an only child in a Jewish family, in a Jewish community. His dad is a kosher butcher, and he's the first person in his family to ever go to college. And then his dad has a talk with one of his neighbors, and then his dad says, oh, one of the neighbors starts saying like, oh, the world's gonna come soon for your boy, because this is the height of the Korean War, and boys who are not in college get immediately drafted into the Korean War. And so his dad starts freaking out because like some people in the community are dying, the young boys especially, like leaving their parents like childless because of this war. And so his dad starts freaking out like, oh, you're screwing up your life. I was looking everywhere for you. Where were you? And he's like, I was in the library studying, and you know that. But his dad is convinced he's like in a pool hall somewhere. And I can see the concern that his father has for him, but at the same time he's acting out in a way that actually drives his son away. And he drives his son like from Newark all the way to Ohio, which I'm not sure how far that is, but I'm guessing it's far enough to feel like you need some space. And he ends up rooming with two Jewish roommates at first. One of them loves to study, and then the other one is a drama. He's like kind of like a drama geek, and he's very he's basically a good actor. But then they have a falling out, and then he moves in with another roommate who lends him a car, and then he goes on a date with this girl called Olivia Hutton, and like shenanigans ensue with her, and he ends up not talking to her for a while. And basically she is more than what she seems, because she's she has survived like alcoholism and a suicide attempt, and now she's just trying to live a normal life. And he doesn't quite know what to make of that because that's the first time he's ever really experienced like anything with a girl. So anything, you know, R-rated with the girl. And so he's just trying to make sense of his feelings, and then she's like, I did this because I liked you. I'm letting you know and I'm figuring it out for you. Like, I really thought how like forward that was, especially like at the time this book is set in, and I kind of admired her bravery for doing that, even saying like, you didn't notice the slash across my wrist. If you'd have noticed, I would have honestly explained it to you. And I just thought like, wow, this girl is awesome. But then yeah, that's it. The movie ended up kind of looking like a love story between them, because at the end of the movie it shows her going like looking at the wallpaper again, because she brought him like flowers when he was in the hospital with the same the same kind of arrangement. So it ended up looking like a love story rather than like, it wasn't a love story, but the movie made it seem like a love story, which is what I didn't really appreciate. But I mean, it's fine. What else are you gonna do with that? I don't know, like, I like the book. And this is actually a case where I like the book more than I like the movie. I just like the movie because it was kind of aesthetically pleasing, mostly just because Logan Lerman. Anyway, one of the things I will grant the movie a plus for is there is an argument between Marcus and the dean, and he's upset that he has to go to chapel 40 times just to graduate, while he himself is an atheist. He's a Jew, he's of Jewish extraction, but he is an atheist, and he hates having to be forced to listen to like preachings, because he's, you know, he's not. And then but the dean seems kind of like he can take criticism, but at the same time the dean, you know, really cares about, you know, why don't you like God, blah blah blah. But and they had a pretty intense argument. And then the argument from the book where Marcus Messner is quoting from Bertrand Russell's Why I Am Not a Christian was also reiterated in the movie, and I thought it was really good because it was kind of like a big part of the book. And yeah, that's it. I guess, yeah, it was like both worlds colliding. They think the other is wrong, but at the same time it was like the dean who was I would say the better man in the argument, because I forgot to mention the reason why they were having an argument was because Marcus was saying how going to chapel was a infringement on his like student rights, or like rights, because like he doesn't have, I mean, like, he has a right to not attend, but he's forced to. So I think that was one of the elements of what the book was trying to say, like you know, something about student rights and you know, not wanting to do something but you have to, even though it goes against what you like personally believe in, I think. Marcus is okay. Now we're gonna go into the book. So I'm already 8 minutes in. I'm just ranting because I just feel like it's kind of a mess, because they just sort of chopped up what the book was, and then they just took the parts that they liked and put it in the movie. Anyway, Marcus is a naive only child from Jewish parents. He's considered like the perfect son, the nicest boy in the world, and so he's never really come against much negativity in his life, or a lot of reasons to because it seems like he well, basically he's very prepared, a very smart boy, but it seems like he was unprepared for the changes of college and what he would be going through, because he thought to study very hard so he can get at least a high position in school and in ROTC, so that he doesn't end up dying very quickly in the Korean War. He would study very hard as if he had like a gun pointed to his head, because he didn't want to get drafted. And or if he did, he had a like survival plan. His dad really cares about him, but at the same time starts freaking out. It's like, what are you doing? Tell me more what you're doing, you know. And then instead of making his son like warm up to it, he ends up driving his son away. And yeah, because he can't really express what he's trying to feel. And then his mom is just very quiet, but she's a good woman. That's just their family life. And then Olivia is like a troubled girl who, like I said before, has survived a suicide attempt, alcoholism, and she's trying to go to school to live a normal life. And then it seems like she's been branded, like she was basically slut shamed throughout this book, but he still liked her a lot, Marcus. And later on, when he gets out of the hospital after getting his appendix out, he's like looking for her and he can't find her. And in the book, he is accused of being her baby daddy, but he's like, I am not her baby daddy. And he ends up cursing at the dean and leaving the office. But then later on, he finds somebody to go to chapel for him instead, and he just pays, but then he got caught. So then he ends up saying F you to the dean again, and then that's how he gets drafted into the Korean War. And then throughout the book, if you narrate, during the narration in the book, he's actually talking about how he's like reliving his life, like watching it on replay from the afterlife. So that was interesting, because like midway you're already prepared, like, oh, he's gonna die. I thought he would die in a car accident, but he actually died because he got drafted into the Korean War because he got expelled from school. And that's it. I really wish I could have liked the movie more, and as you can tell from this review, it's kind of a mess because looking at my notes, everything seems like it's organized, but then when I'm actually talking about it, it's not. So yeah, but I do want to close on the part. I just want to like say, when Marcus was looking for another college to go to, he sees this brochure with this white guy wearing this certain outfit and this girl, and they're walking like in the field or something, and they look happy with their books and stuff, and that's what he wanted. So he goes out and he buys that same exact outfit and he hides it in his closet, and then when he's in college, he wears it. He wears it when he goes to the dean's office for an argument. He wears it when he is going on a date with Olivia, and I think he wears it, I forgot when else he wore it, but it was a point that I kind of noticed in the book, like what he wanted was to fit in and to live like a normal life, because he's just growing up and he just wants to experience life. But then you got the war, and then you're afraid of being drafted into the war, as well as all of these social expectations of you and stuff. So I thought that was actually pretty sad when I read that. And oh yeah, one more thing about Olivia. In the book, when we find out that she's pregnant, it seems like, okay, so she was cheating on him the whole time, but then in the movie, it seems like she's slandered, like slut shamed. So I read that somewhere in a review, and so I would actually agree, because it actually made it seem like, oh, she cheated, but wait, everyone here is like talking bad about her and stuff already, so it seems like they were just lying. Whilst in the book, it was like a fact or something. So yeah, that's it. I wish I could have liked the movie more. It seemed a bit of a mess, but I liked the book a lot more. There was more depth and more layers and elements to it. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around. If you've read the book, watch the movie. Let's discuss in the comments down below. Maybe I got some things wrong. Maybe I need to correct my whatever it is I need to correct. Let's discuss down below. Bye!